And by the way, if the listeners have any additional questions for you,
Yeah.
how would they contact?
Great, thank you for mentioning that. 319-296-4000. So it's just the admissions number, 296-4000. Gets it done, and just say that guy in the admissions office, or Jason, or any of those will work, so, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, listeners, you heard it here first, and until next time, enjoy this weather and this day. You've been listening to Opening Doors. Thank you.
When I was little, we could talk about anything.
I still want you to talk to me.
When I was little, we taught me to follow rules.
I still want you to guide my life.
When I was little, we laughed and played.
I still want us to have fun together.
When I was little, you gave me hugs.
Well, you want a break or do you want to
Once in a while.
a break?
When I was little, you told me you loved me every day.
I still want to hear those words.
When I was little, you were my hero.
I still want to look up to you. You're my parent, and I'll always need you.
No matter their age, your children never stop counting on you. Stay close to your kids. Stay connected. Visit parenting.org for helpful resources or call the Boys Town National Hotline at 800-448-3000 for free parenting advice.
Experience counts will get you back on your feet. Get a plan for success. We're the people to meet. Confidential and local for your peace of mind. Help you manage your debt and leave your troubles behind. Follow the road to good credit. Consumer credit.
Stand by.
Something.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is Karen Atwood, Director of Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Northeastern Iowa. We're here today to talk with you about your own money situation. Consumer Credit has been providing this program on KBBG radio for several years now, and we're very appreciative of the KBBG team, Lou, Edie, and all of the folks that help put on this wonderful radio program for you folks. This is a call-in. This is an opportunity for you to ask your questions. If you don't want them answered over the air, or you don't want to be on the air, just let us know what they are and we will get back to you. Our office is located on West 4th Street in Waterloo, 1003 West 4th, corner West 4th and Locust. Stop sometime or call and make an appointment, and a counselor will be happy to review your finances with you. Our phone number is 234-0661. We make appointments between 9 and 5, Monday through Thursday, and Friday 9 to 12. And we will also make appointments at other times that are convenient for you. We have a website that you can get a lot of information from, cccsia.org. You can fill out an application online. You can figure your budget using that. You can read about our staff and get to know a little about us before you even walk in the door. So that's what's really nice about having that kind of medium available. The internet just helps you to get a lot of information before you even talk to someone. So with the questions that you have, give us a call, 234-1441, and they'll be directed to us and we can help you. With me today is Gail. Gail has been doing this kind of work for many years, and she too knows many of the pitfalls people get into. We'll start this morning talking about probably the most favorite topic, credit cards. Everybody likes their credit cards. And let me start by saying credit cards can be wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Wouldn't you say, Gail?
Yes, as long as you have a goal as to what you're using it for and a plan as to how to pay it off, and hopefully you can pay it off within a short period of time.
Experts recommend not more than 2 credit cards. Today, almost all of the credit cards work for everything. A Master or Visa works for clothes, gas, shoes, whatever you want to buy, food, groceries, even McDonald's and the coffee shops. So it's not like you need a separate card for each one. So decide what cards you want to have. Have either 1 credit card, use it, pay it off every month, or 2 credit cards. But don't be like a lot of people who get into the habit of having 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, 20. Yes, we have seen people with 20 credit cards. Keeping track of them is like impossible. Some today still have annual fees. And if you have 20 credit cards with annual fees, you're going to pay out a lot just in fees alone. You want to get rid of those. So look on your bills and see which ones have annual fees. If you don't have a bill handy, turn the card around and look at the back, find out what that 800 number is. Call, find out what the terms are of your credit card.
Credit cards also affect your credit rating. So the more you have, the more it's going to show on your credit report, the more it could lower your credit rating. So that's something to keep in mind. If you have cards that you are not using, department store cards, consider closing those to start clearing up your credit report.
That's a good idea, because the more that you have, the more you look like a person who's going to go on out and rack up a whole bunch of credit. So if you do need a credit for a car or a house or something, and they see that you have all these credit cards, they're not going to want to deal with you. Now, you will notice when you close a bunch of credit cards, your credit rating will go down for 2 months. It's a couple of months. But then it will go way up, because it's shown that you have taken the action of closing the cards. They're not closed by the companies. But once they're removed, then everything will improve. I used to be one of those who would be traveling and you see a department store you never go to, and they all say the same thing. Get a credit card here and get 10% off on your purchase. Well, I went to places in California, in Washington, in New York. All of a sudden, my credit, it was huge, the number of credit cards I had. Not that I used any. And those didn't disappear after 2 years. They stayed on my credit for a lot of years. So it's a matter of getting rid of those so that the ones on your credit are the ones you use. And they're better because then the creditors that are looking at it can get a true picture of what you're doing with your money. Using credit cards to supplement your income isn't a good idea. Using credit cards to pay for something instead of using all your income so that it's going to come in later and pay the bill is what you want to do. An attorney told me when he has someone come in to file bankruptcy, it amazes him how many times people put credit cards down as a form of income. Credit is debt. Credit is not income. Credit is a means of handling the money you have, but it is not new income. And a lot of people pay certain things cash, certain things check, and certain things credit. But that is actually a liability. So you want to use them carefully and know where they are at all times. It's a good idea to make a copy and put a copy of your credit card in the safe or in a safe place. So if something did happen and you don't have the card, you could call the company and tell them what, and you'd have the name of the company as well as what your number is, so that they'd be able to shut it down immediately.
Another good idea is to not keep all of your cards on you at all times. Only keep them on you when you plan to use them. Otherwise, keep them in a safe place, just for security.
Recently, I went on a trip and I did that. I took my credit cards out of my wallet, I took my checkbook out of my purse. Lo and behold, I meant to take 2 credit cards and I only took 1, and I forgot to call the credit card company and tell him I would be traveling. So I went to pay a $6 item and the clerk said, "You've been declined." So I had to call, but then my cell was down, so I had to wait till I got back to my hotel, got some more power on my cell, and called the company, and everything was fine. But that is a good point to remember too. Your credit cards want you to have good luck using them. They want you to have good credit. So if they see things out of the ordinary, they will call or they will stop a charge until they can talk to you. I had multiple calls on my cell phone, and I had an email at my office wanting to know where I was during this period of time. So that is a help. So anyway, I just have to make sure that before I go out of town the next time, I call and tell them I'm going. And I have done that before. Another question is joint accounts or separate accounts? If you have joint accounts, that can make it easier for you, for the two of you to spend it, to use the credit card. But it can also be a problem, because if you're both liable for that credit card. So make sure you know how you're gonna use it. And so if your relationship is such that everything is joint, then you may want to go joint. If your relationship is tenuous, if it's kind of an off and on again thing, keep your credit separate so that no matter what happens, you can charge on it, and the other party would get his or her own credit and charge on that. Protect yourself with that. It's like with a checking account. Everybody should have their own checking account. The idea is that the husband have a checking account, the wife have a checking account, and they have a joint checking account for bills. We're old enough, we don't do that. We've got one for joint, and then, well, I guess I have my own. So it depends upon your situation, how you handle your checking account, but make sure that you both know the situation with it. How is your money good? Are you running overdrafts? Those sort of things. I've told people, if you're having problems keeping money in your checking account, put your money in savings and close down the checking until you can get a handle on it. And the question comes up, what do you do when you fall behind on bills? Well, there aren't any of us that don't at some time have a problem with a credit card bill being bigger than what we can pay off. What you need to do is you need to sit down and figure out when you're going to have that paid to zero. goes back to what we've talked about before, the short-term goals. Sometimes those bills become a goal just to pay off the bill. I've talked to people who have said that part of the money on their credit card is from Christmas 2 years ago. Well, we need to set goals that are shorter term than that, so that at least by June, your old Christmas is paid off, and you can start building up money to go towards the new Christmas. And we have birthdays and all of those things come up. So you should sit down periodically and decide what's going to happen with the money. You've just come from tax season. Question is, did you get a tax refund? Did you put some of it in savings? Did you buy something that you needed? Do you have some goals that you used with it? Now, if it's a small refund, small to nothing, that's real hard to divide up. But if it's sizable, well, I'm here to say most people go through a sizable refund about as fast as others go through a small refund. So take a look at extra money. Put some aside so that you can have it for a longer period of time. We're going to take a short break here, and we will be right back.
For loving me so much, for taking me out to the park, for reading me books, for taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot in ballet rehearsal.
For leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone. And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear Mom, for having the chance to take you to the park, for reading you those books we enjoy so much, for being able to take you to your therapies after you twisted your ankle, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. And in your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to get practical health and wellness tips to provide
Stand by.
loved one. Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP. We help you help. A public service announcement.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is Karen Ackwood. I'm back with Gail, and we're discussing you and your money today. And now we're going to spend a little time talking about falling behind on your bills and payday loan opportunities. So when you fall behind on bills, the worst thing that you can do is say, well, let's go out to supper and we'll discuss it tomorrow. Falling behind on bills merely means that you got to face the music and now before you lose any more money. Many times we kind of want to go in the dark. We kind of want to forget that it's an issue and just move on. But the first thing to do is to make a list of all of the bills that you owe. And don't forget anybody. If you borrowed $20 from a friend or $40 from a friend, get that bill on your list too. If you, whoever you borrowed money from or whatever place you owed, I don't care how small it is, list it. Then take a look at your payments. Do you get paid weekly? What is your weekly paycheck going to be this week? What about next week? The week after? Because it varies depending upon how many hours you're able to work, depending upon holidays, etc. So check your money out. Now, if you've got a lot of debt to pay, that means you're going to have to tighten your belt. That means you're going to have to tell friends who want you to go for a cup of coffee or a beer or something, you know I can't, we're tied up. It's going to have to seem like a little fakey excuse, but you're going to need those excuses. Otherwise, the money you need to pay your bills will go for something frivolous and you won't get the bills paid. So it's psychology. And like a lady said to me one time, how did you know? I was the last one in the bar with money. She said, it's all a mind game. And I said, yes, it is. Because the way you think about your money will determine how much money you have. And if you don't think about your money at all, you probably won't have any. Anyway, that's extremely individual. So you can think about that and see what you come up with. Where do you go for help when you can't figure it out? Well, give our office a call, Consumer Credit Counseling, 234-0661. Ask for an appointment. Susan will be happy to set you up with an appointment. And you can come in or you can call and talk to the counselor and get some guidance on how to set this budget up, how to get set so that you don't have to be feast or famine all the time. It's nice to get a paycheck that's not belonging to everybody else but yourself. And you can get yourself into that situation where your paycheck actually belongs to you. And I'm not saying that you're going to have paychecks that are 100% yours, because that's not life. Paychecks are not for money. Paychecks are to help you get something. So part of your paycheck will always be gone, but it won't be 100% owed out to somebody for which you get nothing anymore. A number of years ago, we had checks and cash and money orders to use for paying bills. And there was even kind of a barter system where you could do things for others in exchange for an expense. Then along came this lovely thing called payday loans. And Gail, can you give us a little more information about a payday loan?
Payday loans have one of the highest interest rates that you will run across. I've seen them as high as 300%. They also want you to pay them by check, and then in a week or 2 weeks they process your check whether you have the money in the bank or not.
In some counties, since it's a check, you go to jail if the check isn't good. In Blackhawk County, it's not considered a check. The Division of Banking told me they're not checks and they're not loans. It's kind of like a new form of bill payment. But it's rather sad because you don't have the $100 you need for a certain bill that you want to get paid right away. So you, let's say, maintain good credit. You go to a payday loan place, you get the $100, and you know in 2 weeks you need to bring them back the $100 plus the charge on the bill. But in 2 weeks you don't have the money. So you go, you pay them their charge, and you renew the money that you borrowed, but you also wind up getting an extra $50 or $100. You get yourself so wrapped up in that we've seen people with 8 or 9 payday loans, and I believe there are 15 in this community right now, payday loan shops. People go from one to the next, pledging whatever money they have as the money that they're going to bring in and pay it off. So you get in an awful spiral, and it's all but impossible to get out of. Now you might say, why would anybody do that? Well, we have gleaned from that these places hire wonderful employees who will treat you like their best friend and who will make you want to come in and pay because they are so wonderful to you. And you're not going to go in there unless you need help. So you're going to have a needy person seeing a very kind person, and it's the kind of match that they want because all that they're interested in is getting more and more of your money. If you have a payday loan, your best bet is to end it. You can end it by not going in and paying and telling them that, and if you can, get money into your bank account so that the check will be good. Doing away with it once and for all. It's something that can keep you going, but it's also something that can cause an awful lot of grief. And like I said, you can always go from one to another to keep the spiral going. But you'll never find any money of your own when that's the case. You avoid them by sitting down and figuring out your budget. Stop and see a counselor, go through things, see what can be done. Knowing what your financial picture is, knowing what your expenses are, and what your income is, when you're going to get new income in, helps you to avoid going to someone like a payday loan. Sometimes you have to borrow from family members to get out from payday loans, but those are new loans, and you just make sure you pay them off. It doesn't matter what they call it, if it's a payday loan, if it is a credit card, if it is a bank loan, any of those, or a loan from a friend, they're all debts, and they're all loans that need to be paid.
A good tool to help you is track your expenses. You can track day by day, write down everywhere you spend your money, every penny you spent, write down what you bought and how much you spent, and at the end of the day you can look back and see where your money went. People don't always know where their money is gone from payday to payday, so this is a tool that will help you, a tracking tool, is to write down where your money is going and then see what you can cut back, what you really needed to buy, what you did not need to buy, and go from there as to how to get through to the next pay time.
Yes, and if you have teenage children, you really need to write down every time you give one $5, $10, $20, anything like that. If you've got children younger than that, the same thing is true, because your wallet can be empty due to little money that you gave them. What about the money that they need for school? The $8 for this, the $6 for that, all of those sort of things. But you need to track it, follow it up. Number of times you stop at a gas station and pick up a bottle of pop, or at a coffee shop and get a cup of coffee. All of that is working your budget over. And it will be harder and harder to meet ends when you continue to use the money on the little things. You can do as much of that as you want, but you need to be doing it with extra money that you have, not money that is needed for food or for gas or for something like that. So it's important to know what income you have coming in and what your expenses are, and to track your expenses. Another thing with the income coming in, did you just get a large tax refund? If you did, you want to look at your W-4 at work and perhaps have less withholding taken out. Less withholding will give you more every week or every 2 weeks in your paycheck. That's not going to hurt you at tax time, because you really don't want thousands of dollars coming back to you. You want to break even or have a little bit more than that. The rest of the money needs to be in your pocket during the year. That should cause you to borrow less money from people if you have more of your own money to live with, to live on. And as you go through the year, you have birthdays. When you write down your goals, figure out when your birthdays are, what you're going to do for birthdays. Does that mean you spend money, or don't you spend money? Do you just have a birthday cake? What do you do? Instead of waiting until the day before the birthday and saying, oh, I forgot about them, I better find some money, plan. So plan for your birthdays. Plan for your holidays. If you're going to be taking a trip, plan for that. So a good rule is that successful financial planning successful financial life is all about good financial planning. Set your short-term goals. Set your long-term goals. When things seem to go awry, sit down and figure out what you can do to get out of the bind. Sometimes great things come along and we spend money on them, and then we realize, whoops, that wasn't in the plan, shouldn't have done it. All right, you're going to need to go down a different path. Figure out what that's gonna be. That will help you to get on a good course again. If you don't do that, you will throw the budget away, you'll say, I don't need this. It doesn't do me any good anyway. I'm just poor and I'm just gonna stay poor. And that's no attitude to take. You don't wanna do that, or you will have a real tough time staying on top of your money. Remember, you need to be the one who controls your money, not having your money control you. So as you look to these topics, give us a call, Consumer Credit Counseling, and a counselor will sit down and talk to you about money management. We have classes available at Ridgeway Place on a Wednesday evening, and you just call the office for the time. We'll be more than happy to let you know. Call our counselor, 234-0661, set an appointment, 1003 West 4th Street in Waterloo. So you have a good day now, and enjoy the warming weather, although it's not as warm as it should be. And I will be talking to you again. Take care. Bye from Karen and Gail.
The views expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Afro-American Community Broadcasting Inc., nor those of KBBG-FM 88.1 Waterloo.
The sounds of the 21st century.
Excellent job. Thank you. You did great.